Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 22 of our F125 Aston Martin Driver Career Mode. Yes, we return this weekend here to Las Vegas and of course the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Brazil, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out because we kickstart this one with some sad news. We're out of the World Championship fight. There's no other way of saying it. Still sat in P3 overall, but with just 83 points available and an 88-point deficit to Max Verstappen at the top of the World Championship. It is officially just a two-car race between now and the end of the year, and like we've seen in recent years, it's between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Now, I'm pretty certain mathematically Max cannot wrap up the title this weekend. It will go to Qatar at the very earliest. 23 points between them though, so Lando really does need a good result here if he wants to keep his title hopes alive. Max could theoretically now finish right behind Lando in every race and sprint between now and the end of the year, and he would still win the championship by just one single point. But if we look at the results recently, it's actually been the Dutchman getting a lot better results than Lando Norris as well. So only time will tell whether even this championship fight will go all the way to Abu Dhabi and the season finale. Of course, yeah, Vegas though this weekend, I'm looking forward to it. I'm still hoping we can chalk up one more win this season and equal the record shared by Lewis Hamilton and Jacques Villeneuve as rookies. But yeah, get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're getting very, very close to 11,000 subs on the channel. A massive thank you to everybody for their continued support. And let's do this thing.
Stand by to see cars at more than 210 miles an hour blasting their way down the strip. F1 has taken over. It's F1 Fever, Las Vegas.
Well, if ever there was going to be a race inside F125 that could deliver craziness, surely Las Vegas is going to be that circuit. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm hoping that we can try and get a good race under our belt, score some solid points, and of course try and just do our best to hang on to P3 in the World Championship. I think Qatar I'm really looking forward to as well. Abu Dhabi, take it or leave it. Inside this game, it's probably a circuit that I'll start dropping off the calendar when we move down to 16 race seasons and things like that as well. But yeah, obviously here though tonight, I reckon there could be definitely an opportunity for another podium, maybe a win if things fell our way. I think, you know, Lando and Max, now they know they only need to focus on each other, they could really kind of start tripping over and potentially, you know, allowing others an opportunity to snooker away some victories before the end of the year. I'm loving this though. Esteban Ocon just in front of me as we make our way down towards the strip. Hopefully he's going to provide me with a huge slipstream here to help us out on our first qualifying run. Isaac Hadjar currently slowest with a time. Oh, on the board there is drifting our way out on towards the back straight. That's not the ideal line out of there. It might just mean that I'm not inside the range of Esteban Ocon either, or we certainly won't get as much slipstream as I was hoping for here, as we'll just keep draining battery all the way down the strip we go. 220 miles an hour almost, as we're pretty much at VMAX in this Aston Martin car, but eking our way then in towards the final chicane, just getting a little bit dirty air then from the Frenchman, of course, our teammate's former teammate in Formula 1. Then again, 210 miles an hour by the time we get in towards that final corner, and we go P4. I would normally be very happy with that, except for the fact Liam Lawson has gone quicker than me. Well, as we head back out then, ready for our final run, as we've so often seen towards the end of this year, it looks like Ferrari might have the car to beat tonight. Verstappen, though, he is only able to improve up to P7. Lando Norris, I believe, is out on his final run, and we'll be looking to try and elevate his way up the order as well. But we need a good few tenths of a second if we want to really move our way up through proceedings. George Russell now slots up into P5, so clearly there is more grip being put down on the circuit. You wouldn't guess so based on my line through the first couple of corners, but we'll try and use a bit more battery then, a bit more strategically. It looks like Verstappen and the entire Red Bull team have had a bit of a stinker here come the end of qualifying. The Dutchman in P12 there, Yuki Tsunoda down in P13. So we are going to be ahead of both their cars as Charles Leclerc goes under 90 seconds here. That is a ridiculous lap time. 1.6 seconds faster than anything I've achieved. And I think, again, he had a fair bit of slipstream to help him out. We've just got to, again, try and use the battery as we make our way down the strip, but make sure that I nail the line this time around to set us up to get a good run out through that back straight there. Just tried to brake a little bit too late last time. You can immediately see about another 0.3 of a second has been unlocked. It's a quarter of a second up then on Lando Norris. So if we go quicker than him, neither of our championship protagonists will line up inside your top 10 ready for the Grand Prix tonight. Anything can happen on Vegas, but clearly you don't want to be betting on the two men that have scored more points this year than anybody else. So try and get the power down there through the final couple of corners really, really early on the loud pedal, but we'll carry the speed out of the turn. I think we're going to put ourselves up hopefully in about P6, P7. Just make sure I don't run out of battery on the run towards the line. We go P4, but a second slower than Charles. I mean, look at that then. Charles Leclerc, 129.9. Lewis Hamilton, 130.2. Next up, Oscar Piastri on a 130.8. Those Ferraris are in a different league around a circuit like this. Tsunoda did improve, though, to go P7 by the end of qualifying. Lando Norris, P11. Max Verstappen, P13. Fernando Alonso down in P14. That's pretty disappointing for our teammate. But anything can happen as we head into the Grand Prix. Like I said, if we can beat Ferrari, I'll be very happy.
Welcome along to Las Vegas, and Formula One might be in the middle of the Nevada desert, but who'd have thought it? It's raining out there. Now, how will that affect the drivers as they race along the strip? 17 corners, 3 straights, 2 DRS zones, and the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas as we race around the 3.8 miles of Sin City. The strip has been taken over to become a straight tonight, commanding top speeds of around 212 miles an hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Albon, Ollie Behrman, and Russell, Antonelli, Norris, Sainz, and Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Doohan, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon, Hulkenberg, Bortoletto, Isaac Hadjar, and Liam Lawson. Tsunoda and Max Verstappen completes the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Quitting while you're ahead, not spending too much on the slot machines and trying to get some decent sleep. That's my main 3 challenges here in Las Vegas, but what about the drivers?
Yeah, speaking about the on-track challenges, Crofty, enough about you and your challenge over the weekend. This track, you're on Monza downforce, don't forget. So every corner that comes your way, you've got way less grip than you're accustomed to in a Formula One car. So you've got to tread carefully, particularly around the higher speed content on the circuits.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, our World Championship leader then, Max Verstappen, lines up last on the grid here tonight. Thanks to some grid penalties, he, Yuki Tsunoda, Lewis Hamilton and countless others have picked up penalties ready for tonight's Grand Prix. So again, anything can happen here tonight. But yeah, Leclerc now won't have a rear gunner in Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri and I both want to try and chalk up a victory. But let's not forget, us 3 at the front, we're all in our own championship fight as well to finish in P3 overall. So let's see what we can do tonight. Albon 4th, Behrman in P5. It's 5 red lights though. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go then for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Off to a fairly decent start. Behrman actually want to try and have a look around my outside in towards turn 1, but won't make that happen as Albon tries to get down the inside there in a very, very low grip. At the start of the GP, we'll slap the inside wall as he tried to get the car planted through the exit of the corner, but we will just about slot back ahead of the Williams car as well there. This is the kind of circuit where I would genuinely expect them to be just as quick as us over the course of a race stint, so we'll wait and see whether Albon causes me any problems here tonight. But already Leclerc and Oscar trying to build up a little bit of a gap at the front of the order. Doesn't look like either Red Bull has made much progress off the start. I mean, it would be the most Lando Norris thing in the world, wouldn't it? For after everything going on, for him now to finish behind Verstappen in this Grand Prix tonight. Never counted out inside this sport, but as we wind our way down towards the back straight. They're nice and early on the brakes. Don't want to lock the rears or have a scary moment on lap 1. A little bit closer to the wall than I should have got then. But I think if we can keep up with Piastri, we might be able to get a break on Albon there, as Russell now moving up into P5. Leclerc, though, has already got the DRS margin he needs up at the front, so we're going to try and get the run on Oscar Piastri then, as for the 3rd weekend in a row, almost, well, going 3 wide there with Alex Albon. Oscar Piastri moved around in the braking zone. There's contact between myself and the Williams. And again, we've got underbody damage.
Slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
What am I meant to do when Oscar Piastri moves like that in a braking zone? Like, how am I meant to predict that inside this game? Lando Norris then has had a pretty successful start to the GP, already up to P5 then, as we're going to try and get George Russell out of my DRS range here on lap 2. Leclerc, though, like I said, just trying to build up a bit of a gap early on. It's what he does best. Builds up kind of a 3 or 4 second lead, and then just controls the pace from the front of the order there. But as we will get around the outside of Piastri that time round under slightly more control. Let's go see if we can close in on the Monegasque man. As you see there, Piastri again, though, trying to get a run of me back towards the start-finish line to kick-start lap 3. Leclerc, fastest lap. We will go even quicker, though.
Fastest lap of the race.
Nobody will go quicker than me. Well, let's see now then if we get a good run out to the back straight, if we can now get Oscar Piastri out of the DRS range, and I think we will. So this is really, really critical early on. Just keep trying to break away from these cars a little bit further behind. Leclerc as well. We are still closing in on him at the moment, so I'm hoping now we leave Piastri, Norris and Russell to battle further back, and that can allow Leclerc and I just to build up a bit more of a lead. I just need to get into the range of the Ferrari now, because I've not got much battery. This is a very, very risky play early on in this GP, and sadly hasn't quite worked out for us that time round. We're still 1.3 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, but luckily Norris and Piastri, they are having a bit of a squabble behind us early on, so already kind of looks like your top 5 have broken away from everybody else. Lewis Hamilton perhaps dragging Kimi Antonelli along and showing him how it's done around this circuit. Just trying to bring both himself and the Italian out of kind of that huge DRS gaggle further behind. But, I mean, is that both Red Bulls still way behind everybody else, or is that a V-carb on one of the Red Bulls? I would only assume it's Tsunoda, but have Red Bull just not got a car that's quick enough in a straight line to do anything? Oh, come on, this has got to be the run. This has got to be the lap that we get inside the range of Charlie, and I think he knows it. Gap goes to 1.0. But we are just about going to bring it back under. There we go. That's fantastic news. So I'm happy now just to sit behind him and recharge the battery pack until we get towards the pit window. Both of those McLarens still sat about 2 seconds further behind. But this is glorious for us in this GP at the moment then. Leclerc, I'm not going to let him get away. I'm not going to make his life easy. But I'm also not going to make it too difficult too early. We are only at 20% race distance here. A lot more will change. This is my grand plan then, to try and save up some battery. Oh, okay. Let's have a listen in then. There's not a chance I'm two-stopping this race. We're only at 40% on the rear. Admittedly, it is more than I was hoping it would be, but it's not bad. As there we go. We just bring the ERS down into none once we know we're inside the detection point of Charles. And you can see, even then, we're barely losing anything to him down the rest of the back straight. It's only about 10 or 15%, but that can make a huge difference very quickly. And then by the time we just get the throttle down out of the final corner, flick it back up to medium, and we should be good again. ERS management is super critical inside F1 25. You can gain a lot of time by being smart with it. I mean, look at that. In the space of 2 laps, we're now up to a full battery charge here. So now, basically just means as long as I don't lose the range suddenly, just use a little splash whilst I can. But as we get closer to the pit window then, going to be able to try and do something with this. I mean, look at the mini-map though. Your top 7 cars have just broken free of everybody else. We are starting to see a couple of guys opting for the 2-stop. I just do not think it's going to be worth it here. This first stint might be a little bit difficult on the tyres, but we should be able to manage it and at least get to the end of kind of lap 11. But again, if I'm not working too hard just to stick behind Charles, we also should be looking after the tyres a bit more. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Someone's breaking down then in this Grand Prix. It looks to be a Red Bull. Is that Verstappen? It is! Max Verstappen out of the Las Vegas Grand Prix then, and that has huge championship ramifications. Lando Norris, at least he knows at the very least he's not going to lose any points to the Dutchman this weekend. But the first retirement of the night, despite taking grid penalties, Verstappen is out of it here. Lando Norris now, I mean, what was the gap coming in? About 23 points. He could theoretically leave here leading the World Championship, but I think he'll be happy if he's only 8 points back.
Get what we needed there, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down now, chin up, and let's focus right until the checkered flag.
That's a bit annoying. I probably could have just jumped Charles temporarily in this Grand Prix and claimed that objective. But anyway, tyre warning lights now on. So I think we're going to box this lap ever so slightly earlier than I would have wanted originally, but far from the end of the world. Well, out of the final corner then into the pit lane here, so we are going to try and see if we can work an undercut on Charlie Boy in this Grand Prix. But I think at the moment that Ferrari is just looking super quick here. Will we see anybody else in? We haven't done a great job looking after this first set. It's actually, as I've said before, the biggest problem with Vegas is actually getting enough temperature into the tyre, which can be a little bit frustrating.
Turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
But anyways, we make our way back out onto the circuit then. Goes to show just how ridiculous the advantage the top runners have had so far tonight. We've come back out still ahead of Ollie Behrman by a good few seconds. Luckily, it looks like Alonso's back in the points as well, so hopefully both cars will still score. Well, there we go. Leclerc into the pit lane then, so we should get a good idea as to whether we've got an undercut on him. This car has felt pretty good on the outlap, and tyre wear seems to be a lot better as well then, so hopefully we can manage this second set of tyres a lot better than we did the first. But there is Charlie Boy. Oh, a big slide as he tries to get his way back out onto the circuit, but Leclerc, he will hang on to the lead of the GP for now. He has also got the DRS off of Kimi Antonelli there as we just nudge the wall slightly on the exit of turn 1. Will Leclerc make the move happen? No, he won't. That's what we've got to be careful of, slapping the walls like that. That's what we've got to avoid doing throughout the second stint in this Grand Prix. Luckily, Antonelli is going to really hold up Leclerc through these next few corners. Could we potentially try and go for a lunge? No, not there. It's just not worth risking at the moment. We know there's so much left of this race still. As here we go, talking about risking it. Charles Leclerc again. Thought he might be trying to line up a move on Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And this might be a really good opportunity for us just to test the straight line speed. Oh, this Aston Martin. It's the third time this lap then. I'm going to nudge the wall ever so slightly. Come on. We've just got to focus up. We know we're in a good shot to try and win this one tonight. As here goes Leclerc then trying to get a run on Andrea Kimi. We're going to try and claim the DRS off the pair of them as we make our way down the back straight. Over 220 miles an hour, 221, 222, 223. My lord, that car there was not sounding good at that kind of speed as, well, I had tried to have a bit of a look down the inside. It was opportunistic, but only a little bit of wheel banging, so hopefully no harm, no foul. As our top two then into the pits. So Leclerc and I will resume service at the front. Oh, we've got yellows, That seems to be an Alpine breaking down then in towards the final 10 laps. And could that be a safety car here that could really change things up? No, they are getting into the pit lane then, I think. So must have been a puncture that has slowed them down in this race, and they will probably end up almost a lap down. Only problem I've got right now is I think Leclerc is desperately trying to break out of the DRS range. As you can see there, he's using everything he possibly can out onto the DRS zone, and it's just meaning that I'm staying close, but not close enough. Lando Norris is taking a little bit of time out of the pair of us, but I don't think he's going to be a threat between now and the end. Well, strategically, up to this point, this race has been absolutely fascinating. In terms of on-track action, not so much. We have just been following Leclerc around, trying to make sure that I stay inside the DRS range of him every single lap. I mean, just like I said, out of here, he is deploying everything that Ferrari has got. The only thing I'm nervous about is, although I am, able to save a lot of battery right now, I still don't know whether we'll actually be able to get a run on him on the last lap here, so we might actually have to go for a bit of a rehearsal run at some point. We can get close without having to use much battery, but where this Aston Martin is not particularly quick in a straight line, like we saw at Baku, I'm still worried we're going to get screwed. I think now is as good a time as any just to see if we can get a run on Charles Leclerc and actually take the lead of the Grand Prix. We need a nice tidy run out to the back straight, and then we just have to melt through the battery as much as we possibly can here. Gap closes in to about half a second. And there we go then. Looks like we will be able to get a run in this time round. 222 miles an hour as we get around his outside. And is this the first time today we've led? I don't know for sure. But either way, I'm happy to have clear air in front of me as one of those Alpines is into the pit lane again. It's the same one that must have had a puncture earlier on. So I think they are going to go a lap down in this GP. But you can see Charles Leclerc, though, not happy about losing the lead. Almost going for it back in towards turn 1. As I'm hoping, that Alpine, it's Pierre Gasly then. He will dive out of the way, but rather helpfully he's given me DRS. Pierre Gasly might be about to cause some real headaches for Charles Leclerc and I towards the end of the race, because I think he's trying to unlap himself here. So as Charles Leclerc tries to get a run on me, Pierre Gasly also closing in. And we again might end up almost 3 wide here. No, there we go. Leclerc will make it through.
Try to keep focus.
As here comes Pierre then to the outside of us. He then gets the blue flags again and has to back out. Just sit behind to the end, sir. You're not going to get anything else from this. You know, even if we got a safety car now, there wouldn't be enough time for him to catch back up, as here comes Gasly again down in towards the final corner, and luckily decides it might be best to back out. I mean, Leclerc, I think he's now starting to try and play the games as well, trying to start to work out just how much of a threat I am towards the end of the GP. Seriously, I know we've been able to stick with him as well. That's not what we needed.
Might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so go and check your MFD.
What is that? Leclerc just put me in a wall and I've got a puncture immediately. Don't hit the wall. Of course. Of course. I cannot believe that late on in the day, Leclerc made an error and I'm the one that gets completely screwed over by it. The win's gone instantly. The win is gone here, and I've never seen anything like that. No doubt we've lost the front right tyre mark. I can literally see it right there, but a new wing having to go on the wagon as well. I've never seen that in an F1 game. I've never had anything like that before.
Fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
Well, I'm hoping at the very least Leclerc's picked up some front wing damage as well in all of that. I think honestly now I'd rather see Lando win this race than Charles Leclerc here, but he just slapped the inside wall and threw me at the outside on the exit of the corner. We should definitely be able to get back past Kimi Antonelli by the end, but Leclerc is losing time to Norris. Just a lap and a half to go then, and we have rocked back up to the gearbox of Kimi Antonelli. I didn't really feel like there was a rush to get back to him before the end of the night, but as long as we do get the move done on the Mercedes man, I'll feel quite happy here. Charles Leclerc, though, he's definitely losing time to Lando Norris, but I don't think it's going to be enough by the end of the GP. Is trying to get a nice big run then on Andre Kimi. 210 miles an hour before we even open up the DRS there, and comfortably past him down the strip we go. But I mean, this was at very least a P2 finish in the bag tonight, but as always, I might be the unluckiest F1 driver ever inside these games. Still yet to have a mechanical failure on F1 25. But aside from that, pretty much everything else that can happen has happened to me. So let's try and see if we can go for a fastest lap right at the very end.
13.5 seconds.
Oh, not with lines like that down through turn 1. So we've just got to try and keep the car in good order here. We've got the gap over Kimi Antonelli, so we don't need to worry about him closing back in on me on this last lap. But will Lando Norris get close enough to Charles Leclerc? I think if you gave him one extra one, he might have been able to make this happen, but I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to. I think Leclerc has just about got enough.
0.6 seconds.
Towards the end of the GP, though, I mean, we are multiple seconds a lap faster than everybody else around me, but if we are going to get win number 4 this year, it is going to have to wait another day. It felt like those 3 came in quite quick succession, but since then, no luck in terms of chalking up victories late on this season. In towards the final few corners, though, Leclerc, controversially, it looks like he is still going to have done enough tonight to walk away with the race victory. Lando Norris is going to take huge gains on Max Verstappen's World Championship lead there, and heading into Qatar, it is well and truly all to play for up at the front. Leclerc will win here tonight in Vegas, back-to-back victories this season as well, so Ferrari really do have a lot of momentum behind them still at the moment. And clearly, if he doesn't get a penalty, the FIA are very, very biased. Getting the power down, though, out of the final corner. The most disappointing P6 I think I'll ever have inside this game. That one is heartbreaking.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory, he wins!
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky three, it's time to stand on it. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc, Charles Leclerc on top.
Well, there we are then. Charles Leclerc will claim victory here tonight in Las Vegas. Lando Norris, though, from 8th to 2nd in the end, just ahead of his teammate Oscar Piastri. Lewis Hamilton will come through for 4th ahead of Russell and myself, with Kimi Antonelli, Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda and Alonso picking up the final points-paying positions as well. And I think that fastest lap, we did go fastest as well. So happy to get a little bit of redemption, despite the fact no points are awarded for it anymore in Formula 1 there. Max Verstappen, though, the only driver who failed to see the checkered flag. Pierre Gasly on a 3-stop strategy clearly didn't work well for him. What does that do to our World Championship standings, though? Well, it means the gap at the top now down to just 5 points here. We are only 4 back from Charles Leclerc, though, and 6 ahead of Oscar Piastri. So that fight is going to rage on right the way through to the end of the year. Alonso still 5 points back behind Esteban Ocon and 6 behind Kimi Antonelli as well. So he needs a big result between now and the end of the year. Constructors-wise, McLaren, though, 50 clear of Red Bull. So that DNF might really have basically done Red Bull in between now and the end of the year. Still 3 teams with a mathematical shot at the Constructors' Championship, but Ferrari would basically need to win everything inside these final couple of races as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon ready for the Qatar Grand Prix.